Petersburg City Beautiful Awards. We're pleased to be the longest running awards program in existence in the United States. It's all because of the community. I'm Rick Nail, I'm the chairman of the CBC this year, so it's my pleasure to welcome you here, congratulate all the winners, and now I'd like to introduce the mayor of our beautiful city, and he's going to come up and speak to you, Mayor Foster.
Thank you, Rick, and to the members of the CBC, and it's always, I'm always reluctant to say CBC because I might say CDC, and that's a completely different entity altogether. But to the members of the commission, and Rick, thank you for your dedication to the beautification of the city of St. Petersburg. And there was a line from an advertisement years ago, and I always hated it, but I'm going to use it tonight. And it was, I don't even remember what they were. You will remember. I don't. But the line was, "Don't hate me because I'm beautiful." Remember that? And that's what, I mean, that should kind of be a slogan for the city of St. Petersburg. Don't hate us because we're beautiful. And we are. Here we are at historic Sunken Gardens on a beautiful night. It's going to rain. The clouds are coming over. And here we are in this rainforest. And then you look out and we have neighborhoods that have this curb appeal. And we have business corridors that are all about how they look. And it's all about look, smell, and feel. And as I go through as your mayor, and I'm so honored to be here tonight, and I'm honored to be the mayor of what I think is the most beautiful city in America with the most beautiful waterfront. But you think about all of the things that make St. Petersburg great and what causes people to fall in love. And I mean literally fall in love with our city. And it's a city that recognizes our arts, our culture, our diversity. And we celebrate all of these things. But people tell me all of the time that, Mayor, your city is indeed beautiful. And as I go through in this administration and I tap parks and recreation and sanitation and these things, I talk a lot about look, smell, and feel. And I'm really pushing look, smell, and feel. And it's that reputation as a city that causes people to want to be here. They want a vacation here, and then they fall in love with our people and fall in love with that state of mind, that St. Pete attitude, and then they can't wait to relocate here. And I'm not talking retirees anymore. I'm talking moving their businesses here. And so it's because of you. It's because of those who are passionate about how this city looks. And it is indeed beautiful. So we're going to recognize the best of the best tonight. Thank you all. I'm going to recognize just a couple of people, and I'm going to recognize first really my mentor, the person that is the tree mayor, and he will forever be the tree mayor for the city of St. Pete. David Fisher is here. He is my hero, my mentor, and I haven't planted near the trees he's ever planted, but we are Tree City USA, and it all started with his vision of really making sure that all of our corridors had trees. And you know what? Without it, we die. So thank you, Mayor. Coach Bill Dudley, council member, is here. He is our liaison. He's on the commission. Please recognize him. Councilmember Carl Nurse is also here. Please recognize him. And I think I covered it, so thank you all for all that you do, especially to City Beautiful Commission. It's a thankless job, and I've decided, in spite of a really tough economy and a bad budget, I'm going to double your salary. And you're the only commission I'm going to do that for. So once again, thank you. Rick, come on back. Thank you all.
You know we all are volunteers, right? But the benefits is that we get to live and work and help and work with all of you in the community, the businesses, the homes and stuff, in all our joint efforts in keeping this city beautiful. And I'm glad I'm sorry I met Mayor Fisher. I didn't realize you were here. I remember working with you many years ago when I was commissioned. I've been on the commission about 16 years now, so I love his vision about the trees as well. A lot of trees you see throughout the city, that man there is responsible for putting in and planting. Councilmember Dudley, would you like to come up and say a few words?
I'm a little disheveled. We just got out of our council meeting. Whew. Anyway, it's great to be here, and this is a great event because we get to recognize those people who kind of, I mean, we live in a beautiful city anyway, and then we have those people who take it up to the next notch, you know, and do some special things at their homes or businesses, and you put all that stuff together, and that's why we're the beautiful city. And I'm so tickled to death when the spot came open to be on CBC. I want to be on that. You know, I just love this city, and I love that all the things that you people do. And I thank you very much. And I'm going to sit down now. I've been since 8:30 this morning. I'm going to sit back and relax and cheer you on. Thank you all for coming, and congratulations to all of you that have participated in and won. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Coach. At this point, I would like the members of the commission come up, past and present. Barry Edwards, Treasurer. Barry, hanging in the back again. Natalie Alwer, Vice Chair. And the rest of the members, Ellen Thompson. Nate Bowden. Is Nate here? Joan Jakes. Julie Jackway. Michael Manlow. Lee Gunter. Carol Smith. Diane Smith. Tom St. Peter. And past chair, Matt Wilsey. Will you please come up and join us? Any past members I have missed that have snuck in that I don't know about? These are the rest of the commission members on the City Beautification Commission this year. These people all bring varied talents, varied interests, and all find a place on the commission to work within many different areas that involve beautification, LEED certification, grants. They all bring a wealth of information and knowledge and the spirit of volunteerism to this commission, and it's been a pleasure to work with all of them this year. And if we can get, Mayor Fisher, if you come back up, Bill Dudley, we'd like to get a group picture of the commission with you. Where do you want? Where's the best picture, Alexis? Bill, Mayor Foster? Yeah. Come on down.
Suck it in.
Yeah. Let's also, we can't forget our most important support staff. Don't sit back there and shake your head. I can hear it. I can hear it from all the way up here. Linda Sifford, Parks Department Manager. She's the one that helps us keep us all together, the glue, and does a lot of work. And her assistant, Mary Ann Dunn, recording secretary. Please come up and join us.
And I don't need that. While they're coming up, Linda is, and you were back there, I didn't really see you, but Linda really is the glue of this. She is all things parks, and her boss, Mike Jeffress, is also here. He's the superintendent of Parks and Recreation, so please give him a welcome. But we do have the finest award-winning, I'm talking award-winning Parks and Recreation staff, and it shows. It shows in every blade of grass, in every palm tree. It shows that they love what they do, and it reflects on all of us. So thank you.
Squeeze in.
Y'all need to get together.
Come on.
Pretend it's your friend.
Sure.
Hurry, I can't suck it in much longer.
If I could.
Oh, I didn't quite know. Okay.
You got it? Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to go over a little bit about what the city, if you don't already know, the City Beautification Commission is about. We'll keep it brief. It was formed in 1961. It's an adjunct commission comprised of 15 nonpartisan volunteers. We are appointed by the mayor and approved by city council. The monthly meeting is held and open to the public on the second Monday of every month. So if you're ever interested in the commission, if you feel that you have something to contribute, come to a meeting, get on board with us. We can always use more talented people along the way. Our mission is to enhance and safeguard the beauty of our natural resources and city landscapes, therefore enriching the quality of life in our community. As part of the commission, these are other programs that we administer. The Gazella Copsic Palm Arboretum, which is a personal love for me. It's why I got in the commission in the first place. Because like everybody else who, when you first moved to Florida, there's two types of palm trees. There's coconuts and everything else. And then once you learn, there's actually 3 kinds, and then there's 4 kinds, there's 5 kinds. By the time you get to, there's 6 different palms, you're hooked. So my initial experience was, I heard there was a tour down to the Arboretum probably about 20 years ago, and I went down, and Jerry Shrewsbury was the one doing the tour, and I was just so addicted by that point. I went back and had 3 more tours, and he said, look, stop bugging me, go get on the commission if you want to be involved in this. So I did. And 16 years here I am, and we do have the Arboretum, again, one of our many, many waterfront jewels. It is the largest free palm arboretum in the Northern Hemisphere, comprised of about 500 species of palms and over 100 species of cycads from all around the world. Along with that, down there, we've also instituted the BRIC program, which is the, this should be around for here a little bit. Okay, you can purchase a brick down there. We're still the cheapest and best game in town. For $50, you can have a brick engraved. And just about all the funds go back into the Arboretum, into the Expendable Trust, which allows us to do other projects, buy more palms and cycads, and do other improvements for the Arboretum. We also have local organizations like let me see if I can get it right, Jim. It's the St. Pete Women's Chamber of Commerce, okay, who has, over the years, has donated many funds for many things. They've donated money for the map, for some of the signage, for the map casing. So I'd like to recognize them also for their years of dedication and charity and giving to the Arboretum. As I said, the brick program, $50. You can't beat that. I was just a big cat rescue in Tampa, and they won $200 for one of our size bricks. So get your name in. We got plenty of walkways to fill. The gift tree program, you can send in donations you send acknowledgement cards to your donor's family. They're inscribed on a leather-bound register in the mayor's office. Contributions can be made in any amount. There's a variety of trees to select from, and contributions are tax deductible. All right, at this point, we're going to bring up Chris Claus from the City Water, I'm going to get this wrong, City Water Department? Water Conservation, to present her Community Waterwise Award. Chris?
Good evening, everyone. I'm pleased to present the Community Waterwise Award for the City of St. Petersburg. Sponsored by St. Petersburg, the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program at the County Extension Service and Tampa Bay Water, the Waterwise Awards recognizes property owners who have created and continue to maintain attractive, functional landscapes that are water efficient. If you're interested in learning more about creating and maintaining a Florida-friendly yard, I have information on 2 upcoming opportunities for you. I'm very excited to announce that a video is being produced through Tampa Bay Water that will showcase winners of the WaterWise Awards from the last few years throughout the Tampa Bay region. The video, which will be broadcast on St. Pete TV, will include interviews with the people who have created and continue to maintain these wonderful WaterWise landscapes. Also, if you visit stpete.org/water, you can learn about upcoming hands-on workshops. But today I would like to recognize Susan and Jeremiah Rohr for the WaterWise landscape they have created and continue to beautifully maintain in the historic Kenwood neighborhood. Colorful and drought-tolerant ground covers and low shrubs enhance the view of their craftsman-style home, as you can see here. Water-intensive lawn areas have been eliminated and replaced by wildlife attractors, pathways, and interesting yard art items. Rainwater is collected and utilized to establish new plants. The city's yard waste mulch beautifies the landscape beds and adds much-needed organic matter as it decomposes. And recycled roofing tiles and bricks are used to edge beds, creating terraces that hold the mulch, soil, and water. Please help me congratulate the winner of the 2012 Community WaterWise Awards. Susan.
Oh, it's not? Oh, no. This is for you. Get a pic? No. Here, you have one.
At this point, I would like to introduce and bring up our landscape judges, David Connor and Tom Levin, both from Tampa. Part of the program here for the awards program is we always pick very talented landscape architects from somewhere else, okay? Normally from Tampa. That way we avoid all appearances of bias or anything like that. So I'm going to introduce David and Tom to you, and we're going to let them take it from here.
Here we go. How about if I take this side over here? All right. All right, thank you. I'm David Connor, and
And I'm Tom Levin.
really, it was a real pleasure to be asked to do this, to come over to St. Petersburg and to spend some time looking at some absolutely beautiful projects, to get to know more of the city. And both Tom and I live in Tampa. We spend some time over here. This was a great experience, and we want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. So if you have anything you want to...
Well, I think that one of the things that we noticed is that as we were leaving, we said, well, we should really be spending some more time in St. Petersburg.
Tom and I have been doing this for years. Not really. So we're going to try and kind of bounce back and forth and go through this. But, let me give you a little bit about the criteria, or we'll give you some of the criteria. We're looking for, when we're driving through the city, just the overall aesthetic appeal. That's one of the criteria.
And the overall professionalism of the implementation, that it was thought out.
Yeah, quality of architectural design, I'll explain a little bit about that. This is about gardens and landscape. This is not about architecture, but the relationship between landscape and architecture is very important, and we considered that in our evaluation.
The maintenance that we see on projects, most of the nominees it'll have to be at least 1 year old, so you can still see that something is there. But we also have the 5-year, 10, we even have a 45-year award tonight, which I think says a lot about maintaining a sense of a place that's created as part of these projects.
Parking areas, wow. that's picking us up well now. Parking areas are very important. We oftentimes overlook, but an important design criteria for us as landscape architects. So projects that had parking was something that we wanted to take very seriously and look at.
And of course, the preservation of natural amenities and trees on the site, particularly commercial areas, I think have a tendency to subject the trees to the great sign god. And we find that those projects that look at the overall perspectives of the buildings, I think, have as much or better presence than those that like to put a big sign out front.
We're confronted with ordinances every day. It's a very important part of our business. That was a criteria that we would look at, as well as, if you want to hit the last one there.
Well, I mean, I think it's an
Then I'll
obvious
do it.
thing. You know, basically, you know, we wanted to look at how it related to the area. And one of the criteria that we used is if we were in a really nice area, the project needed to be a really nice project to garner our attention, whereas if we were in an area that didn't have as much attention to design and quality, we thought warranted recognition to encourage more of this.
I think it's an important part. We get involved in this every day, and I think sometimes we probably don't do a good enough job of communicating what exactly we do. So we're going to try and do a little bit of that right now. But as landscape architects, what we're always looking for, is to create spaces for people, that are functional, that are active. We take into consideration safety, aesthetics, security. How does the environment work with that? And that's all an important criteria in what we're evaluating as we're looking at projects.
We also want to look at the sustainability of those projects and the fact that what we're doing is something that is perhaps has an ecology of its own in the sense that it has some permanence.
Okay. Let's get on to the awards. So if you have any more detailed questions about landscape architecture, we can convince you to become a landscape architect afterwards. All right, Phil?
Or Phil Graham is over here.
Yeah, he can do that too. Yeah, we're all going to gang up on you. As we mentioned, this has really been extraordinary, but I think we were all thrilled to visit the Dali Museum. And if you haven't been to the Dali Museum, it's an extraordinary project. And from a landscape architectural standpoint, we really felt like it stood out as one of just a preeminent project, a very special project for the city and community.
Well, I think one of the things that some people have said when they've seen the Dali is they thought, well, some of the aspects they said were kind of weird. And of course, I have a certain special place in my heart for weird. And I see that one of the best parts of the project is the kind of the interpretive nature of the space relative to Salvador Dali and inspirations from his native land and the art inside. And the fact that that also is a usable space, it's really an outdoor room for the downtown area. You don't see many projects. A lot of times you'll have a building and you'll have landscape around the building. It's more just eye candy to look at the building, but here there's actually a space to experience and you can really enjoy it and not even go into the museum.
One of the things that really spoke to me about this project is we entered the site from the parking lot, came around to the front of the building and walked all the way around the building. And it really felt as a space that you could enter from almost any place and engage in and enjoy. And I think that's really unique because oftentimes designs have sort of an order to them. You have to experience them in a certain way. And this design really speaks to you in so many different ways. It connects with the local community and it's really, I think it's just a treasure. I really think that the city has an absolutely amazing piece of architecture and landscape architecture, but and it's just a prize for your community. So.
And would the recipients come forward? We'd like to congratulate them. Our second project is actually a portion of the USF campus. The USF campus has a lot of different areas and separate projects that were done. What we were specifically looking at was the Harbor Walk, and what we felt was really the most important aspect of this is how this was a key part of the connectivity between different parts of downtown and connecting throughout the buildings that are in the area, that it creates this connection between building and space and people and the rest of the city.
It's, universities are all about, I do a lot of work on university projects, and it's all about pedestrians. It's all about public space. It's all about how do people get where they're going. And, this is a great project. It's easy to find your way around it. It's got really nice defined exterior spaces. They lead you to buildings. You understand it. It's a beautiful campus. It's a growing campus, and I think it's one of those places that will be a real treasure for the future for downtown St. Petersburg. So, and they've got a lot more work coming along down there. It's just going to continue to develop. So it's really a great project, and it seems to be hitting stride. I think that's one of the things that we were really impressed with, is how they're committed to the exterior spaces to define the urban environment and the public spaces, the student spaces. And so it's a great treasure. And if you're with the college, if you would like to come down and receive your award, it's a good time to do that. The Water Garden Inn. A small project in downtown St. Petersburg that was recommended, and I don't know, Phil, are you the landscape architect for this project? No. Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Okay. Really a wonderful project that shows how you can take an existing facility. This was an existing hotel, and they expanded, added onto it.
They were houses, I think, weren't they originally?
Well, it's a beautiful project. It's a wonderful. They combined two homes together to make a great little hotel in downtown St. Petersburg that I'm sure it's just a beautiful place to be. They've got a really nice swimming pool. They use sustainability elements as a part of the design, I think, which was one of the things that we found really important. They used some now I'm drawing a blank, but pervious pavers and so forth that were part of it.
And I think the interesting part that I found was that the multiplicity of small spaces, that there were even some that aren't even in here, but even small areas with, a small table or place for bicycles, and spaces that normally you think of as leftover spaces, but the spaces between a building and a fence or building and another building. And I think when we think of downtown redevelopment, everybody usually thinks of big projects, big buildings, and big impersonal spaces. And I think this creates a very comfortable, homey, quiet environment right in the heart of the city. It's a great way to experience St. Petersburg.
So if you're with the project, if you would come down and receive it.
So we want to recognize those projects that have longevity, and starting with this one, which is the Isles of Gateway project, is an apartment complex project that is at a point now where after 5 years, it's really coming into its own and really is accomplishing what was intended by the original design.
I think sometimes when you design a space, you hand it off to somebody, you design a project, you hand it off to somebody, and you really don't know what will happen. And I think that's really a part of the designer, especially a landscape architect, because we deal with things that grow and change and microclimates that evolve over time. And so when you walk into a place, and I can remember when we first walked onto this or drove onto this project, it just had this feeling of purpose that was coming out of a project that had been well planned. And that the owners of the project had committed to making sure that that purpose was continued. And they had maintained it well. I'm sure it evolved. I'm sure there's plants that didn't work and things that had to change and everything else, but they were committed to it. And the bones of the project, the actual structure of the project was really coming into a place that, even though it's a little bit older, it's not, you know, the current project, it's a place that if you're looking for a place to stay, you would walk onto it and say, this is a pretty nice place, and we like it.
And you can't see from these photos, but
Right.
the relationship between the retention ponds, which are now very naturalized, the buildings and the parking, all seemed, again, like you said, have purpose and flowed together as a master plan.
So if you're with the Isles of Gateway, if you would come forward. Is Sweet Bay, is that the right place?
Yeah. This is a project that was part of a redevelopment effort in Midtown. And I think it goes back to one of the things I was saying earlier about the significance of projects and their location and their significance in changing the perceptions and images of an area. And this project is a five-year award, and it is still conveying to itself that here is a business that serves the local community, but it also is a positive addition, both visually and functionally, and there's some environmental elements where they had the retention areas with the cypress trees with the retaining walls. I mean, there were a lot of well thought out things in the original design, but after 5 years, we felt that it was still contributing to the Midtown community as an anchor for that neighborhood.
And I think some of the things that you see on this project are really some of the thoughts that are more current as far as integrating landscape wetlands as a part of a project. The wetland, or the stormwater retaining pond is adjacent to the building. That's something that we're doing a lot of today, but 5 years ago, or whenever this project was actually implemented, that was pretty creative. So it's really establishing itself quite well, and it's really an impetus for more development in the area that is similar quality. I think whenever somebody takes a commercial property and develops it in a way that they want to make a better connection to the community, they really enhance their business, and they do a lot for the community, and it's really, those are the types of projects that inspire landscape architects, inspire communities, inspire other people to do that, and we certainly want to recognize Sweet Bay for doing that.
Well, I wanted to bring up one other thing. In the picture in the bottom left was one of the things that impressed me was the pedestrian sidewalk edge. Obviously, it's a grocery store, so there's a lot of parking. But what I really saw is that the interconnectivity with the sidewalks from the neighborhood and actually taking the corner of two major roads and having that as a sidewalk entrance into the project, and that's what you're looking at right there, is something that you normally don't see. These guys have been here before.
I think so.
This is an example of a project that was designed and meticulously maintained for now going on 20 years. I think that it shows a commitment of the company to the city and to the neighborhood, that the image that they want to convey is also conveying a positive image for the neighborhood.
I think sometimes we underestimate how important maintenance is, and it's very important to the success of your project. It's common today to look for maintenance-free solutions for everything. The truth is that everything that is of quality requires some level of maintenance. I think one of the things that we really want to recognize that this particular project has done is that it's maintained a consistency for years. And that's a lot to be said for the owner, for their commitment to making a quality project in their local community. Phil Graham designed this, so. I'm getting cues over here. Is that right? We'll tell you if Phil didn't design the next project. So if you're from the Simber Company, please come forward. Be recognized. Institute is it's one of those images, I will tell you that as a landscape architect, I have looked at images of the Poynter Institute probably for 25 years. It is one of those beautiful examples of the photographs of the trellises, the pergolas really in the parking lot. If you haven't, I mean, I'm sure everybody's experienced that. It's a unique design solution. It's stood the test of time. It's a beautiful solution. And I only wish that we had more photographs because really many of these projects deserve many more photographs. And of course, we need the crutch of photographs, but it's a beautiful project.
Well, and another thing is that if you look at this photograph, this is 25 years ago, and this is a commercial, I mean, it's an office center kind of institute, school, but the idea is that there's not a parking lot in the front door. I mean, so many projects, the first thing you see is parking lots. So, 25 years ago, that was a more progressive idea than I think it is today, more common today. But I think it gives the feel that this is a building that has a place in the neighborhood, relationship to the street.
It really celebrates human scale. It really is a place that's about the human scale, and it's an enjoyable, comfortable place to go to, and I would encourage everyone to experience that. So if you're with the Poynter Institute, would you please come forward?
This project, Museum of Fine Arts in St. Petersburg, everybody knows where this is, has been an anchor to the downtown waterfront for so many years. An important location, and I think it's been an important part of what makes downtown St. Petersburg the kind of place that it is today. And this type of project is built upon that. I've lived in Tampa for almost all my life, and so does David, or at least he's been around a few years. You look at the juxtaposition between a city that committed their waterfront to, ports and harbors, and decided that they shouldn't have trees downtown because it bothers the buildings or it eliminates parking spaces. A lot of decisions that are made in that kind of vacuum is juxtapositioned, I think, to St. Petersburg, and also the idea of St. Petersburg's downtown being a lively place where you would want to go to, having places like this facility and the different, the pier and the hotels and the different things on the waterfront, the green space, the marinas. This is one part of that puzzle, and I think each part contributes to the whole that makes downtown what it is.
Well, when you think of St. Petersburg, one of the things you have to think about is the arts. And, that's a commitment to the arts that this community has had for a long time. And arts permeate the entire culture of this community. And this project is just one of many, but it really is a classic place to go downtown. And it's part of the park system, it's part of the downtown culture, it's part of the structure of the community. And so in many respects, what we want to celebrate today in recognizing this project is its original placement and its original importance to identity for a long period of time. But also the fact that it is so much about the public, and arts museums, are that place where people can go and can experience culture in such a beautiful way. And I've experienced this several times with many different types of exhibits. And it's a beautiful facility, it's a beautiful area, and it makes part of downtown St. Petersburg such a wonderful place to live and to work and to just be for whatever it is. So it was really fun to see some of these. This was one of those. It's really an honor. So
this is the Home of the Year award, and there's a different scale and different perspective when you're looking at residential property, and I think that you see a multitude of different solutions out there, and what we found unique and refreshing on this project was the respect for the original architecture of the house and how it related to the landscape, but also how the landscape became an outdoor living room to the house, and that it had a relationship that made it work together as one. And what's very unique is that this is all done with native plants, and it's one of those kind of projects that if you walked out there, you'd say, nature had a really good day today. That it just, like, everything was just, you just caught it on a really great day. And so oftentimes, natural areas have their ups and downs. You go out in the woods, you see a beautiful place. You go out somewhere else and you see a place that's overgrown or not as good as it could be. But this property was managed almost by an invisible hand of the owners, in such a way as to make it function for their home. And I think it's just an exemplary example of what someone can do when they really look at the outdoor space around their home as part of their living environment.
It's one of the things about the design of place, the design of outdoor spaces, is that it's impossible to describe verbally. It's impossible to tell you in photographs. But this is one of those places, when we walked up to it, we didn't know what we were going to experience. And we walked then through, there's a fairly small gateway, and it opened up into really this just the most charming, well-constructed, well-managed place that just felt like it belonged. And it was clear to us that we had seen something special. After a day of seeing many really fantastic spots, this was a spot we wanted to stay. We could have stayed there and had some drinks out on the patio and felt right at home. And I will tell you that one of the things that's special, I think, about this home and any home is if it feels like it's that way to anybody. I mean, if it's welcoming. And so this is not the space that is for everybody. I will tell you, we discussed that. Not everybody wants a place like this, but this is a special place. And we just really fell in love with it. This last award is a little bit unique, I will tell you.
The names are backwards.
The names are backwards. Well, the McCann residence is on the left, and the Ruiz residence, sorry about that. What we found, we were obviously looking at a lot of sites, and we came to this one particular street and walked up to a house, and we said, well, this is nice. This is nice. We began the normal process of looking at a site and saying, well, is it worthy of an award, or should it be or should it not? What are the things that we're looking for? Compare the criteria and so forth. And I don't know who it was. It was you turned around and said, hey, did you see this one over here?
What's this across the street?
Yeah, and that was about 5 minutes later. I think you just about shot us. We were like, what are these guys doing? And so we really had just an extraordinary opportunity to get to meet some people and to get to learn a little bit about how neighborhoods can come together and people can come together as a unit and support each other and encouraging each other. This is a street. We want to recognize these two homes because they have done such a great job individually. But what we really want you to know is that we want to recognize their community, their street, their support for each other, and for the desire that they have within their community to make this happen with more people. So
yeah, and I think one of the things that we saw was when we started asking some questions, it was almost like, well, I forget which one it was, but it was like, the one residents in one house said, well, we saw what they were doing across the street. And we really think that this guy over here, he's starting to do some things over here now because of what those two have done. And again, we're talking about a neighborhood where you can go block after block and seeing the same old kind of like 1960s kind of tired single-family residential neighborhoods. And in here, you see pride in the neighborhood, you see pride in the home, and you see it kind of catching on, almost like, it's something that's going to spread.
That's what we want to see. I think that's what they want to see. And, I think that's what we all want to see. People coming out of their homes, experiencing their neighbors, becoming friends. That's what it's all about. They've done a great job of that. We commend you for being great neighbors and to investing in your community and to just really making a difference in a community. And so we want to recognize that. If you guys will come forward.
This is a benefit out of that because both the Roosters and McCanns, the Roosters weren't home when we drove up in the city van. It said City of St. Petersburg band, but it didn't matter to him. He was out of his house and like, hey, you, what are you doing over there? Oh, okay. Yeah, they're really good neighbors now. Oh, you want to look at my house? I don't know. You got ID on you? So, and the other thing that I have to apologize for you is that we do have a plaque for the Roosters, okay? There was a glitch on it. And so that's backwards. The McCanns have a plaque, but we will have a plaque for you. We just don't have it here through tonight, and I apologize.
Well, you know where I live. So.
I know. Yeah, you live in the McCann's house.
Makes a better story.
Sure. All right, for the first time here, they did a really great job. Let's give it up for them again. Thank you. All right, next up is the Elva Rouse Award. The Elva Rouse is in recognition of an individual's efforts in areas of beautification or common city causes. I'm going to have Linda Super come up and present this award.
I did ask if I could present this award. Usually I don't do any presentations. I let the members all do that. But this one is a little special to me. And I met Dave McGuire when I started at Boyd Hill back in the day. And met the Friends of Boyd Hill. And what an incredible organization and group. They just do so much for the preserve itself. They are, our watchdogs, they are our programmers, they are our air potato roundup people. They do so much work out there. And there's certain individuals, and they all deserve, a lot of recognition. But there's a few individuals out there that really do a lot, and Dave is one of those. Dave visited Boyd Hill for the first time in 1995. And that was his first visit, and really liked it. And he came back with his sister in January of 1996 and took a volunteer orientation program. And that's how he was introduced to Boyd Hill. And he learned so much, and he just thought it was a jewel, just thought it was something that needed to be preserved, and started volunteering. Worked with the Bird of Prey, still does the Bird of Prey. And he, slowly got involved with the Friends. He's done so many projects. He was member chair for I don't know how long, but for many years, and just kept the membership and all the, dues coming in and making sure everybody was clear, making sure we knew who were members and who weren't, and worked on every year. He volunteers a week at our camps to do work with the kids at one of the camps to just take his knowledge, teach it to these children so they understand the importance of the environment and our natural resources. He did become, in 2009, he became the president of the Friends, and he is currently still the president of the Friends of Boyd Hill. They continue to, again, very much support the preserve itself. They fundraise. They helped us with the aviary. We have a new avian building. They did all the outfitting on the inside. They went out and fundraised and got grants for that. They just continue to support us. They support us with programming, and most importantly, they support us with all their volunteer hours. I don't know, Dave, if you've ever kept all the hours that you have put in at Boyd Hill, but it has got to be up there. He is there on a regular basis and really makes a difference. And so it is my pleasure to recognize Dave McGuire for the Yellow House Award.
I am pleased to present this to the Garden Club of St. Petersburg for all the efforts they have done to help the city of St. Petersburg. We participate, and I am a member, but we participate in the Green Thumb Festival. We staff the information booth, we do the flower show, we do the grow and share, and most of the volunteers at the Green Thumb Festival. We also support the Museum of Fine Arts Art in Bloom. We have school programs at probably about 5 schools to support junior gardening. We have designed, created, and maintained a Serenity Garden at Benedict Haven, a home for the mentally ill. And we also have been responsible for the Helen Holland Rose Garden for years and years. And this is a picture at the, actually in front of the Rose Garden. There are roses behind there. But can I have all the Garden Club members come up?
And last but not least, you're having fun, right? Enjoying this? Good. The great fun thing about even being on here is going back to the list and the annals back to 61, 64, and to see what past commissions did, because they were really creative in names for awards and categories. So we've always had the bit of space to create different categories for awards and things like that. And I think we've been quite creative as they were in the 61. We've come with more sensible ones like environmental awards and merit. But if you go back to the list, they did give out awards where they saved the tree or they saved the building. So throughout just a little bit of interesting tidbit about the awards program back in the 60s. So we kind of look at that on the commission with a broad view when we go out and look at properties, is that if it doesn't fit into some category that we already have, we can always create one to recognize a special efforts that somebody has done, whether it be in the business or home or whatever. So if they've been creative, we can be too. Along those lines, we have been looking a whole lot more since we're becoming a lot more sensitive to the environment, the lands around us, is that there really hasn't been a lot of environmental efforts going on. It's just that we haven't always recognized that. So in the last 5 to 10 years, we've made an effort to search and reach out and look for environmental projects. And there certainly is becoming a lot more of them around. So it's nice that this year, and I have to read all this, so we're going to give this to Dunkin' Donuts for quite a few reasons. Is that this is the second store the company has chosen to build in St. Petersburg out of the whole country. The restaurant was built with energy-efficient materials to reduce heating and air conditioning costs by up to 40%. Energy-efficient lighting and motion sensors were installed for lights in areas used less. Water-efficient plumbing fixtures for recycling for landscaping. They have a program where farmers come in from Hillsborough County to collect their leftover coffee grounds to use in their fields for composting. And we also collect coffee grounds for them as well. One of our members does for use down at the Arboretum to treat the Asian cycad scale on cycads, because it works on those as well. And they also use, like I said, the farmers use them, and they also, any leftover baked goods are donated to Feeding America, which was formerly America's Second Harvest. They have also added the company's first ever electric car charging station, and there's special parking for hybrids and carpoolers. So again, it's just more of an environmental than a beautification, okay, but it is an attractive property. It's just that they are contributing in some, or a lot of many different ways towards the environment, the saving of the environment, and creative ways to reduce costs and waste. And I think we really have to look at that going in the future as part of the beautification of the city. So we'd like to recognize Dunkin' Donuts for their efforts on this project in this area. We're going to thank our sponsors now, the Ravens Go Duluth. They've already taken off, but they were the great entertainment this year that we had back in the corner for you. Twigs and Leaves Florida Garden Center donated the table centerpieces, which those centerpieces, I believe, some one person your table, you're allowed to take them with you. Don't fight over them, there's only one. City of St. Petersburg, of course, St. Petersburg Women's Chamber of Commerce, Pipa's Cuban Cafe, which donated the sangria, which was very, very excellent. Thank you for that. And Tilda Wine for the rest of the wine. And we have one special unannounced that's not on the program. We're now going to go through every project that Phil Graham has not participated. Thanks for coming. I hope you have enjoyed a good evening.